Uh, Welcome back, guys. Today I'm going to be speaking on a current event. I think I'm going to start a playlist on these events and just give my input, my insight on the situations that happened, either with a press conference for law enforcement, political, anything that I have a little bit of insight on that. And today we're speaking on three individuals, deputies that were fired from a department up in Florida for the fact of missing an amount of less than $750 from a suspect. This was a multiple arrest. Uh, and it involved drugs, and then involved some, I believe, pills. And one of the suspects had over under $750 cash in her pocket, in her purse, I should say, and that was also seized, which can be seized because the fact that it's a certain amount of money, and it can be connected to the actual contraband, the drugs. That's the way they do it here in the United States. Even if they think that you're carrying a large amount of money, and they think it's from a illegal source, they can forfeit it. They'll forfeit it from you. You'll lose it. You can get a lawyer and try to prove that you actually have that money in your possession through a legal way. But trust me, you're going to spend more on the lawyer. You're going to spend more on court fees than what was confiscated. That's how it works. It it, it really makes you think before you want to have a larger wad in your pocket. Even if you're going to go to a casino, even if you're going to go to a poker tournament, a legal one, it does not matter. They will confiscate it if they feel like it. So here we go. So all the evidence was actually processed in. I assume this was actually processed into an evidence room where there's only one clerk per shift, and they are in charge of that entire room. They do not let anybody in except for authorized personnel. Is at the end of the day, they're actually should be the ones in charge of the actual all the seized property. Now, this particular three individuals that had something to do with it, as a support unit, as a backup unit. I don't know why all three of them were in there just for marijuana and pills and some cash. There was no weapons found. But anyways, there was three there. The money comes up missing. Everything but the money comes up missing. So they have no way of actually finding out who or what or when, right? But who had control of that money last, and who did he turn it over to at the station? That they did not talk about at the press conference, which they should, because if that actual clerk for that, he's not he doesn't necessarily have to be a law enforcement officer. He'll be sworn in to an extent, but not a police officer to be in charge of the actual property room. He could be a civilian with some minor credentials to possess, to be possessive weapons as an armor. Maybe I don't know how every city has different codes. So I'd start off there. Okay, if he is too comfortable with his station, he's too comfortable in his job, then he needs to be retrained or replaced because of the fact that he might have left the door open, might have left certain lockers unlocked, certain areas in his actual in his seizure room, he might have left something open. So I will start off there. Second, who handed over the cash? And you have to account that. You have to count every single thing. And trust me, I know about document things. Even when we used to seize vehicles, I had to document every single tire if they were a different size. And in older cars that they use to actually move people or contraband, they just throw any tire. So you have four individual tires. I had to put four individual brand, size, and makes of actual the tires, just to start off there. So you have to inventory the whole vehicle, because if something comes up missing, just like this, you have something to back fall on, right? So now nobody knows where this money is. These three deputies come up with a scheme to put together a money, that amount of money, and then turn it in, and then that was it. You can't do that. As much as you want to do that, you cannot do that. If somebody is going to be desperately going after less than 750 bucks, they have no business in law enforcement because that because probably the suspect not knowing that she could lose that money, that she might have to forfeit it. She called asking for her money. See, the majority of criminals want to go, hey, especially when charges are being dropped. You're not even going to go near there. You're not even going to ask. Why bring he unwanted heat to yourself, right? So for her to call, I'm saying she didn't really know the actual the law that because there was drugs and blah 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 blah, and then you have to forfeit that money. I'm assuming she didn't know. So now she calls, and the clerk, uh, you know, I assume tells her she'll get a call back, and this clerk did the right thing. She went straight to the supervisor higher up. When something like this happens, you don't want to get involved. You don't want to give any answers. You don't want to give any kind of statements to the actual suspect or the owner of certain amount of property, right? Always hand it over to your supervisor, your next available supervisor, all the way up. Have them take care of it. Do a report about the call, which the clerk did, turn it in, and now the supervisor has to go to talk to other supervisors and higher ups regarding this case. So they put everything together. One of the actual deputies named on this actual case tries to call in to the actual clerk, tries to work something out. Now the clerk doesn't feel comfortable, hands it over, does the right thing again, hands it over to your supervisor, and then they take it up all the way up. So these three deputies, because they didn't do the protocol of how to handle a situation of the missing money, were fired. If you do it with this, could you imagine what you're going to do with the next case? For the next case, you're tampering with evidence. And if you do that, you're no good. And this actual suspect is lucky that she's getting her money back because the money is gone. The money is seized, the one they try to replace it with. But according to the sheriff, they will try to come up with her money through the station's funds. That's good. That's good for the person, you know. But they also announced that they're going to drop all the charges on the two suspects. And someone at that station, if if it was stolen, they gotta weed that person out. They have to weed the person out, and depending on the actual depending on the size of the department, depending on the actual how do you say the funds available to that particular station, run everybody's credit. Run everybody's credit right there and then. Run everybody's credit. It's part of your background check, and they periodically throughout your career they'll run numerous backgrounds on you. Make sure you're still good. Make sure you don't have any court cases that actually are still on hold or anything can come up. So run a credit check, see who's falling behind on bills, see who has a gambling problem, or see who's actually paying a lot of money, child support. A lot of things could be in play here, and we know this is one of the worst ways you lose your job in law enforcement. Just over 750 bucks, but them 750 bucks will come in handy to somebody. You know, obviously they did. So this brings on what happened to a exactly for the San Diego sector for the Border Patrol. This individual was the spokesman, the face of Border Patrol. And it's a cool job because all you are basically is a press secretary for the San Diego sector, and how he got possession of these things, I don't know how he got possession because all this equipment should be under lockdown by the actual armor of the station, and he he took some night vision goggles and sold them, and it was quite a few that he sold. Now, I was never issued a night vision goggle. I had better equipment than that, but it was not portable like I like to put in your pocket. No, and by him selling it, took it away from the field officers, the line units, and that's worse than being a thief because now you're taking from your fellow union members, your fellow employees that could actually eventually possibility save their lives out in the field having that particular device. And I'm not just talking about aliens or dope runners. No, no, no. I'm talking about at late at night when you're actually driving through rough terrain, barely going a mountain in your vehicle or on foot. You always want to have something like that, especially if you're on the rocks and there's in the summertime with the rattlesnakes. It trust me, they let you know they're there by the rattle, you know. And it would be good to know to have something like that in your hands so to actually eliminate the snake and find out where the rattle is coming from. You know, that's just one example. But he did get caught and he did get fired. So this is just another what we'll call it. We'll label it current event. All right. Thanks a lot, guys. Don't forget to like and subscribe.